With the resurgence of interest in handheld gaming and the PS Vita in particular, I've decided to invest a significant amount of money into this video to answer some niche questions that most other videos don't cover. If you watched my last video, you'll remember that I purchased a nearly new PS Vita straight from Japan. Having never owned a PS Vita myself, everything I share with you is completely unbiased as I have no nostalgic connections with the console. Today we'll focus on the Vita 2000 model, also known as the Vita Slim, and I'll share my experiences and the faults associated with them. Let's break down what you can expect in terms of pricing and condition from the market internationally. New to near new models can range from $220 to $270, although the sky's the limit with a pristine condition Vita. I felt like this is a realistic budget most people can have. These models have a few to no scratches at all, and the external shell is flawless and comes with almost everything in the original box, with the hardware working flawlessly. Lightly or heavily used models range from $120 to $180, and lightly used models have some light scratches, but the external shell overall is in good condition with the hardware working flawlessly. And heavily used models have a presence of light scratches with some or plenty of deep scratches, and there may be damage to the external shell, but the hardware is working flawlessly. And last but not least, faulty but functional, which ranges between $60 to $100. And if you want a project or just want to try your luck, this is the perfect model for gamblers, as you're more likely to make a financial loss than a financial gain. But you might be lucky, or your tech repair shop and might be able to make a profit if you buy in bulk. Regardless, the functional faulty models from what I've seen are up there in price to the point where if you added $15 to $20 on it, you could just get a heavily used model. What I count as functional consists of 32 features, which I'll list on screen, and a Vita needs to pass over 80%, which this one does. But before I continue, let's take a look at all these models and see how they've held up in different walks of life.
Why don't you try a tutorial that uses the camera next? Welcome to Welcome Park. Somebody's at the door. Let's go to the main menu. Select the icon of the tutorial you'd like to play. Next, how about a tutorial that uses tilt?
Over the past several weeks, I've extensively used these Vitas that had 4 different lives, and I must say, Sony has built these devices to last. The condition of each unit seems largely dependent on how they were previously handled by their owners. What surprised me the most was the battery life. Despite their varying ages, all 4 units performed exceptionally well, capable of delivering up to 2 days of gaming with about 3 to 5 hours of play each day. This uniform performance across several models, including the Aqua Blue Vita manufactured as recently as 2017 and others from 2015 and 2014, demonstrates the durability of even a decade-old battery Sony put into them. However, I always recommend using the original battery when possible, as third-party alternatives can sometimes lack reliability. For charging, if you don't have the original charger or don't know which brick is suitable, any USB source for your PC, laptop, or gaming console is adequate, as they typically do not exceed the Vita's required 5 volts. It's important to remember that higher voltage can damage your device. Think of it like eating too fast. A small bite every few seconds is manageable, but try to rush and this can lead to problems. Among these units, the heavily used Vita, I found sand inside the console and under the buttons, and its speaker output was notably weaker than the others. The faulty unit had a loose left analog stick, which didn't affect gameplay but was noteworthy. More critically, its right daughter board was defective, impacting the functionality of the right analog stick, select button, and right shoulder button. I replaced it with a working board from another Vita, confirming the original board was the issue, and now everything works perfectly minus the yellow screen. Now you're wondering, how does the screen get yellow? Well, the yellowing in the Vita Slim is not directly related to the Vita, but the weakness of the LCD in general. Heat exposure can accelerate the aging of the LCD display, causing it to undergo chemical changes and liquid crystals or glue to degrade. Exposure to UV is also another issue, but from the looks of how rough this Vita is, either it was left in a car during a hot summer or just played outside in the sun frequently, because the yellowing is much more noticeable on top of the screen compared to the bottom. But it isn't as bad as the camera presents it to be. Personally, it doesn't bother me, as it looks like I have a blue light filter on. Across all Vitas, including the 1000 model, the screen's brightness and dimness presents limitations. It's adequate indoors, but struggles outdoors and doesn't dim enough at night compared to modern smartphone screens. Some games also restrict brightness adjustments to conserve battery life or protect the screen. While we're talking about screens, I highly recommend getting a tempered glass screen protector, as it feels much better to use and touch, whilst at the same time you won't damage the screen. In terms of connectivity, the Vita's Bluetooth and Wi-Fi capabilities are sufficient but slow by today's standards. Downloading a 500 MB game took about 15 to 20 minutes. However, the ability to download games in standby mode, signaled by a helpful blue notification light, is a feature reminiscent of early 2010 Android phones, a small but useful touch that enhances usability. For those considering a purchase, especially if you prefer the original Vita 1000 for its OLED screen, ensure that it comes with a PS Vita memory card, as it lacks internal storage. This is vital for saving your games. The Vita 2000 model offers 1GB of internal storage, which isn't much, but it did address the concerns of consumers that prefer physical game cards over downloads. As we continue to explore what the Vita offers, remember that official support for this device as of 2024 is still dwindling. If you're looking to experience the Vita in its current form from what's left of the official PlayStation Store, now might be your last chance. And in terms of accessories, AliExpress is your best friend. And obviously, I'm not sponsored by them, but it's always surprising to me how many people don't know what to use this platform for. You see, when Nintendo Switch launched in 2017, it put the final nail in the Vita's coffin. With PS Vita production season 2019, there hasn't been any big third-party companies actively producing, well, anything for the Vita. So before you go on Amazon and buy a case or a screen protector for your Vita, just go to AliExpress and buy it directly from their supplier. Most of the time when you're buying an accessory for your PS Vita, it's just the same product with a dropshipping company that slapped their logo on it and brought up the price by double or triple the amount. And a side note for the 2000's yellowing display, you can only see it when its display is turned on, preferably on a white background. If the seller hasn't listed any pictures with the display on, just play it safe and ask them if they can provide one, or keep moving to another listing. I hope this video was helpful to anyone who wanted to know how the Vita has aged in different conditions, and a few more specific questions such as how the battery has aged, how to charge it, where to get accessories, and other information such as the slow Wi-Fi module by today's standards and the notification lights. Let me know down in the comments if there's anything I didn't cover, and I'll be more than happy to try my best and answer that for you. Thank you for taking your time to watch my video, and as always, take it easy everyone.